Let's make sure we can create new posts so that this new post button does not only open the modal, but we can actually add a new post. For now, without the image upload. So let me go back to my REST API, and there we already have a create post route, of course. So we can continue working on that. We expect a title and a content there, and for now this is the only data which I will really need to worry about. Because, well, as I just said, we'll not worry about the image for now. You can pick an image here, but ultimately, even though it's previewed here, it will not be uploaded. But it does not matter. We can implement this in a way that at least the title and content is uploaded. For this, we already got our route in place, a post route to feed post, and there we then extract our title and content, and we, well, for now, basically echo back that message. Let's try that. And let's go to our front-end application, so to the React code. And in there, let's simply go to the feed.js file. And there, you should find a finish added handler function. This is the function which is responsible for handling the case that we clicked on accept here once we entered a valid title and content. By the way, here, I also got validation in place, front-end validation, which is not the matter of this course because it's not related to Node at all. It's just a user experience thing that we use browser-side JavaScript to validate the input right away. You can learn more about that in my React course if you want. Still worth noting that we have some validation in place here, not validation on the server though. So if I now click accept, I want to reach my /feed/post route. For that, here, we have to edit this URL. This URL here will actually be required later when we start editing posts. For now, we want to create a new one. So here, the URL will be http localhost 8080, so our backend URL, /feed/post. This is the route we set up on the backend. Here, we send a fetch request to that URL, and we need to configure that request because it will be a post request. So the method here can be post, but actually I'll write this in a more flexible way too, because when we later edit this, we'll use a different method. So here I will create a new variable method, which I'll set to post, which we then later could override in here. So here I'll not hardcode post down there, but instead use my method variable. I will also need to add a body, the data which I want to set. And that has to be JSON data, so I will use JSON stringify to convert a JavaScript object to JSON, and then I pass a JavaScript object here. And this JavaScript object, in the end, should hold the code which I want to, send to my backend. In this object, for now, I simply want to set my title, and that can be extracted from post data, an argument I receive in this function. So post data will hold the data the user entered, post data title, and then here also the content to post data content. So this is again what we add in the React application. Last but not least, to send this request in a way that the server understands it, we need to add some headers here where we set the right content type. So here I'll set content type to application JSON to inform the server that I do indeed send some JSON data. So with that, I'm targeting the right URL and I'm sending JSON data and I'm sending a title and a content. This should be everything I need on the server. So let's save this and it should reload automatically as long as you keep npm start running here. And therefore, it reloaded the app here. And let's create a new post. The title has to be at least 5 characters long. So has the content. Choose a file, otherwise you're not allowed to submit this, even though the file is not getting uploaded right now, and click accept. Now, you will run into an error here, which is related to the front end missing some crucial data it needs to update everything correctly. However, let's go back one step, and let's actually console log REST data here, still in that finish edit handler, just in a then block after fetching. and save again. The app will reload, and you can enter something into that new post modal again, testing again, and hit accept again. You'll get that same error. But before that error, you'll see a log which actually proves that on the REST API, everything worked correctly. You get back that post created successfully message and the post with the data you entered. The error is simply stemming from the fact that on the server we're not doing everything we expected to do because we're not creating or we're not attaching a user, we're not creating a date, and so on. These are all things we can fix though by going back to our controller on the server. And there, when we create a new post or when we echo back that post, first of all, it should have an underscore ID, not an ID. It should also have a creator field, which is, again, a JavaScript object with a name of your choice. And later, this will not be dummy data anymore, but real data. So we add this creator, and we should add a created add field. And that created add field is simply a new date. And now with that being echoed back, if we save that server-side code and we reload the front-end application, we can test this one more time. Click accept, and now we don't get an error. Instead, we see our post there. So now we indeed do create our data on the server, or at least we fake to do so, and we return that back to the client where we can now render it. Now editing will not work, though we can select it for editing at least. Deleting will also not work and viewing will neither, but we got our basic flow set up. Now, since we're creating a new post here, what is missing on the server though? At least two things are missing. And what is missing? Well, validation, server-side validation. We only got client-side validation, but that can always be tricked because users can see your browser-side JavaScript code. They could disable it. They could basically find ways around that. So it's not a safe mechanism. It's only meant to improve user experience. So we need to validate on the server. And of course, we want to store the data in a real database. So we should add MongoDB or a SQL solution again. And that is what we'll do over the next lectures.